Good afternoon, everybody. We welcome you back to the Baton Rouge Regional for the Women's NCAA Tournament. We are joined now by three Lady Tigers from LSU, the number 3 seed. Immediately to my left is senior Anissa Morrow. To her left in the middle there is our junior Flau'jae Johnson. And then on the far left will be sophomore Michaela Williams. As we always do, we ask that when you have a question for the players, please raise your hand. We'll bring a wireless microphone to you. Please introduce yourself and direct your question to a particular player. And if you're joining us via Zoom, please hit the hand raised icon and we will come to you when available. With that, we'll open the floor for questions right here in the front.
Ron Higgins, Freeport Post-Journal. This is for Flau'jae. Besides having to turn your shoes off, what's been the most, difficult part the past 3 weeks of trying to get back into a game flow that you've been out?
Oh, it really hasn't been difficult. Being out at first, it was like a change for me, but like it really did change my perspective, and I think for the better. I feel like in that little short time, them 3 weeks, like I got my mental in order. I feel like I've become a better teammate. I feel like I've seen the game from a different point of view, and so I can help my team. And so at first it was hard, but I learned to like love the hard stuff. I learned to love conditioning. You know what I'm saying? I learned to love just the little things a little bit more. So it ain't really been that difficult.
Matthew Burnett on 3. Anissa, for you, what was that Texas game like, re-aggravating the foot injury, and then what have the past couple weeks been like for you getting back?
Yeah, of course, difficult for me. I wanted to go back on the floor and be able to compete with my teammates, but sometimes you have to learn how to tell yourself no, and sometimes you might think that I'm superwoman, but I'm not, and everything happened for a reason, and that's just what I had to take from that moment. But overall, I've been getting my conditioning up, being in the weight room, strength and conditioning, getting as much treatment as I can, and I'm ready.
Chessa Boucher with NBC 33 here in Baton Rouge. Flau'jae, you're one of the veteran pieces. What has been the message to your team as you guys get ready to go on this run?
To be honest, it's just like my message is everything is your fault. I think that's the best way to like take accountability, and I think that's what we missing as a team. Like it's always your fault. Like find your fault in it, and that way we can fix it. I think when you trying to learn how to lead a team, the first thing you gotta do is look in the mirror. So I can one of our where is Miss Shayu? She's like our, I don't know. She's amazing though. And she was telling us when you point at somebody, you got 3 fingers pointing back at you. You know what I'm saying? So it's you gotta hold yourself accountable first. And so I always try to tell them it's our fault. And I know to get through this tournament, it's gonna take everybody. Yeah, we the big 3, but it's gonna take a big 8. You know what I'm saying? To get to where we want to go. And I know this because of how hard the Elite 8 was last year. And you look down on the bench and you're like, dang, we need 1 more. We need 2 more. You see what I'm saying? So, it's just about we need everybody. Everybody important, but we just got to be accountable about what we do off the court and on the court.
Jacques Duce, WAB-TV in Baton Rouge. Flau'jae, a quick question and a follow-up if I could. You feel 100%? You ready to go?
Yep.
And you're 9-1 in the NCAA tournament since you came to LSU.
That's got to go.
What would you say, what takes winning at this time of year? What do you have to do to win at this point of the season?
It takes more. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. No, but it's going to take everybody. It's a lot of things are always against us. And I always say, people play us different because we got these 3 letters on our chest. Mm-hmm. So we got to protect that with pride. You know what I'm saying? We got to have pride about it. You got to have pride for those 50-50 balls. You got to have pride of knowing, every game not going to be your game. You know what I'm saying? Every game's not going to be your game. It might be Nice's game. It might be 12 game. It might be my game to go get rebounds. Every game not going to be your game, but you got to be able to see how you can affect the game when, you know what I'm saying, stuff not going well. And I think with us being out and then 12 having to carry the load, I think she realized, you know what I'm saying, everybody has a part, you know what I'm saying? And I think all this whole situation kind of with the injuries and everything just kind of made us come together and grow stronger. It takes a lot of focus. I always told them, last year when I was walking in the back of that arena and I seen Iowa and Caitlin Clark celebrating with the confetti falling on them, I seen red because I'm like, dang, that was supposed to be us. So it's kind of hard to explain that to people who weren't there, you know what I'm saying? But once you get that feeling, like, you don't ever want to feel that again. Like, we cried in each other's arms after that. And so, you know, it's going to take a lot of, like, heart, because everybody tired right now. Nobody got legs. So it's going to take something else.
Yeah, Michaela, what has this week been like in terms of the intensity, the practices, the points of emphasis for y'all just going into this?
Right. Obviously, we've been trying to be real sharp going into it. We've been paying great attention to, like, the details and, like what Flage was saying, the discipline of things. We've been going real hard, conditioning, make sure that when it is crunch time, we got that extra win to make that down and back and get that block or that extra steal or whatever. So I think for us, the biggest thing was just being locked in mentally, because at this point in the season, it's not the person who's the most physically talented. At this point, it's the mental. So.
Jack Schummel, WBRZ here in Baton Rouge. Anissa, how do you guys kind of handle a layoff of 2 weeks from a SEC tournament to a first NCAA tournament game?
First, I would say we held each other accountable. That was the first thing. We made goals for each other. Everybody needs to be in the gym at this time. We have a sign-in sheet, and we did that amongst captains. And we were like, if we're able to do this and there's some people relaxing right now, then we're getting 10 steps ahead of those people that are relaxing. So just staying together within those 2 weeks, but also challenging yourself. So what is something in your game that you have to work on? If it's free throws, if it's jump shots, if it's finishing around the basket, those are all the things that we worked on in our 2 weeks.
For Mauro and Johnson, I'm wondering, how would either of you describe both the staff's approach and your own approach to trying to maintain or optimize your fitness going into this tournament? And while I realize you all say, you know, you're ready to go 100%, I think when people see you in walking boots on Sunday and then the compression shoes today, it can be confusing. Maybe they don't understand the technology and so forth. So how would you just describe the approach to optimizing for this?
I would say, honestly, a lot of people see me in a boot, and I go out and I get a double-double. So it's honestly just to take a little bit of stress that might be on my feet while walking without a gym shoe on, just having that boot on, having a little bit more support. Of course, we know how much time we spend in getting treatment this whole time for 2 weeks and being able to take that next step. So I guess it would just show on the floor.
Yeah, and I mean, what I think is just like, if you get on that court, nobody, you're not hurt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you get on that court, you tell coach you good to go, then there's no excuse. You got to be good to go. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, I just try to take every precaution. I've been doing more treatment than I've ever done in my life, really learning how to take care of my body. So, the boot was more so really like a precaution. Like, you know what I'm saying? They've been telling me, like, you can get out of the boot. And I'm like, nah, I'm doing good. I'm on the up. I'm not changing nothing up. So, that's just how I am.
Michael Cowell from WBRZ in Baton Rouge. We'll start with Michaela, but all of you, could you answer? Just what did you see in that game against Texas? You know, Flage says you're going to need 8, right, not just you 3. What did you see out of the other 5 that gives you some hope, you know, about their ability to step up when the moment's needed?
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest word was hope, like just knowing that the people sitting on the bench were ready to step up and they were ready when their name was called. So that just gives, I guess it gives them confidence. It gives the coaches confidence in them. It gives Anissa and Flage confidence in them, me confidence in them, just knowing that they was competing with the #1 team in the country at the time. So just a whole bunch of confidence going into March.
Yeah, I think a lot of confidence in them, but it's just like the small things. Like, we lost to Texas by 8. We lost Texas by 7. Missed 8 free throws. You see what I'm saying? So I think they kind of understood more of, like, it's not about me coming in and hitting that big shot. It's more about me coming in and getting this stop and then getting on the ground for that 50-50 and then making them free throws. So I think, they understand. And in practice, we've been pushing them. I've been pushing Jersey. I've been pushing Lily. I've been pushing Jada. KG, like KG, where you at? Jada, where you at? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to need y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can look at us and be like, don't look at us to do it. Go do it. Like, say I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? And I think everybody got to take pride in that. And I think they have that. Jada got, like, an unwavering confidence as a freshman that I never had. You know what I'm saying? And so she's going to be better. KG, she's just an absolute baller. She just got to get out of her head. In Jersey, I think her ceiling is so high. Just being 6'5" and being able to move like a guard, like, that's different. So it's just us pouring into them, I think, is more so what we've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I remember sitting in the locker room and talking to the doc and everything, and I'm like, well, they holding their own.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm really in pain right now, so I got to take a step back. But honestly, seeing the confidence that they have gained in these 2 weeks, that's another thing too. Showing that they could go up and compete with, at the time, the #1 ranked team in the nation, and being able to hold their own. Sometimes when you're not getting in the game and you might not get subbed in, you lack a little bit in confidence. But knowing that they played a whole half without me and Flage, like, the sky's the limit, honestly.
To any of the players, what's it been like having Simone Augustus on the staff this year? And what have you learned from her as a coach? And have you seen her becoming more comfortable with becoming a coach?
Yeah, I think for me, the relationship builder with Coach Money was definitely after the Washington game when I scored 0 points. I called her, she came to the room, and we were just talking. Like I was like, I don't know. Obviously, the confidence was low because I've never done that in my life. So I was just like, what do I do next? And I think her just pouring in that confidence and just keep going. Like she was telling me that it was okay. Like it's okay, basketball players do that sometimes. And then just shaking back. I think her biggest thing is just shake back. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to do whatever. But just shaking back for the next day in the NC State game. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would say just like, how to be a professional. I always talk to her about the next level because that's where I'm going to be soon ultimately. And I'm just like how small things, like how you do this, like what is it about the playbook, like, you know what I'm saying, how much faster is it, like what do I have to do in order to be okay when I get there, like, so I don't know, I try to ask her more about that and just like development. She got one of the nastiest crossovers ever, so I've been trying to figure that out. But yeah, like she's great and she's like really consistent, I would say, as a person. Like she don't have days where she here and she's always right here, and that's what I'm trying to get.
Yeah, I would say the same. Coach is very calm and collected every day. One thing that I really learned from her is just diet and taking care of your body and how important it is if you want to be able to be that elite player and play for so many years and dominate. At the same time, you have to take care of your body.
We got time for one more question, if you got it.
Hello, it's Anna Swartz at USA Today. Michaela, after Anissa went down during the Texas game, you were still on the court. What was your message to the rest of the team and the rest of the girls out there on how to bounce back from that, especially in such a high-stakes game for y'all?
Right. Obviously, we want Nice on the court. Like, that she's our senior, our vet, our leader. Like, we want Nice on the court. But I think my message to the rest of the team was, this is your chance to step up and fill in those big shoes. And for the most part, I think Samaya and Jersey and Aaliyah, I think they did step in and do what Nice does. But at the end of the day, my message to them was just work hard, do the best you can, fill in those shoes, and when your name is called, be ready.
Ladies, thank you very much. Congratulations on your season. Best of luck in the tournament. We appreciate your time. And in 5 minutes, head coach Kim Mulkey with LSU will be joining us. And that'll be in 5 minutes from now. All right, we welcome you back to the Baton Rouge Regional here at LSU. Pleased to be joined by LSU head coach Kim Mulkey. LSU getting the number 3 seed, 28-4 on the season. They're scheduled to play at around 9:15 Central Time tomorrow night against San Diego State, or 30 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1. As always, we ask if you have a question for Coach, raise your hand. We'll bring the mic to you. If you're joining us online, please click your hand raise icon on Zoom, and we will come to you. With that, Coach, congratulations. Welcome back to the tournament, and we will open up the floor for questions.
Hey, Coach, Matthew Bruni on 3. San Diego State, now that you've been able to dive into that matchup, just how would you evaluate their skill set and what they do well?
Very balanced scoring, no just one dominant player that takes all the shots. Can dribble, penetrate, can shoot the 3. They shoot about 15 a game and make 5. Predominantly man-to-man defense. Now, that doesn't mean that's what we'll see. If you were comparing us and them, we're obviously bigger than they are. But they spread the floor. Our posts are going to have to go outside and guard. And a very interesting stat that's impressive is their bench scoring. They're like 13th in the nation with players that come off their bench. So that tells you they're very balanced.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge. We just talked to the girls about being in the boots and the recovery and the whole thing. And Flage said something that I thought resonated very, very true was we're the big 3, but we need the big 8. We're going to need 8, and basically the idea that they're going to need everybody. And how much of that was the messaging and building the girls' confidence from that Texas game?
You don't win big games or even championships if you don't have contributions from everyone. Cobble, if you'll remember back 2 years ago in the national championship game, who were the 3 MVPs of that game? It wasn't Angel Reese. It wasn't Morris. It was Poa. It was Samaya. And it was shot the heck out of the ball, Carson, okay? And those 3 came off the bench. Well, 2 of those 3 are still with us, so they have experience from that game. And Flage, if she said that, she's exactly right. You have to have contributions from everybody. And the Texas game, we didn't have the big 3 really. Michaela was the only one, but she was in foul trouble. So I thought the people who played in that game competed hard. We threw a zone at them and stayed in the game and competed.
Yeah, Kim, Ron Higgins, Shreveport Bossier Journal. How much rust has Flage knocked off? I mean, she's been gone for 3 weeks without a game. I mean, what does she look like in practice? What do you feel like where she is at this point?
I think she's actually looking pretty good. She's hitting shots, and she smiles when she does good, and she wants extra reps. She doesn't want anybody subbing in for her. She's just ready to go, but that's Flage. Flage just has a joy about her, and I guess we'll see when the lights are turned on how long she can last, conditioning-wise, and how productive she can be when she's out there on the floor.
Chessa Boucher with NBC 33 here in Baton Rouge. Coach, Flage mentioned seeing red with that Elite 8 loss to Iowa. How much is that motivation for this year? I know it's a new year, but still, in the NCAA tournament, using that as motivation.
When you're a freshman and you win the national championship, you think every year I'm going to win another one. It's hard to do. And I think that's one of the things when she ran to that sideline and hugged me, she said, I did this my freshman year. And so she still has those memories, and she wants to do it every year. And I think for those who are a part of that national championship team, you know what it felt like. And hopefully that's great motivation. She's healthy, and I don't know why they wear those boots, I start singing that Nancy Sinatra song, These Boots Are Made for Walking. I think they just have gotten in the habit of doing it because I don't know that they're needed, but I haven't asked the trainer. But Flage's ready to go. And competitors and coaches, they always remember the losses. Sometimes they forget the victories and the championships. They tend to dwell on the losses, and I would think Flage's probably thinking about that, how the season ended. And I will remind all of them, there's only one person, one head coach, and one team that finishes happy. That's a pretty profound statement.
Jack Schemmel with WBRZ here in Baton Rouge. Coach, 2-week layoff. You've obviously been a part of a lot of these. How do you manage the 2-week layoff?
You give them some time off and then realize that you're not playing as soon as you get back out on that floor. So you just kind of do a little bit of everything. You work on yourself, and then you see the bracket, and then you do your homework, not just on who you're going to play in the tournament, but who you potentially could play after each game. So you're working on 3 teams and doing scouting reports. And we will get to see the first game tonight, so we'll get more of live action there. So you just kind of build. You don't do it all in one day.
Yeah, Coach, obviously Flage's activity level defensively is really important for y'all. Have you seen that in this past week start to ramp up and just the impact she has on y'all's defense?
Yes, because we use the guys, our dream team, so she's out there guarding them. And I don't see anything that concerns me about Flage. Maybe in her world she feels something a little different, but she looks like the Flage of old to me.
Hello, Coach. Tatum Esparza, USA Today. Anissa talked about during the Texas game when she didn't want to go out, but she felt a lot of pain. She had to. What was your message to her about taking that time off and coming out of the game in order to prepare herself for the upcoming tournament and to help her focus on her game?
Actually, I didn't talk to her. If you'll recall, that was my second game back with the team. So I was sitting down in the middle down there by the team, and I didn't make that call. The doctor said, no, you can, but no, we're not going to let you go back into this game. And we never really discussed it. I think after the game, when they did x-rays and MRIs, they said everything's good, just re-aggravated a sprain from the previous Texas game, but that she's good.
One thing that Flage said was that her attitude regarding injuries is that if you're on the court, you're not injured, which kind of sounds like something maybe you would have said when you played. I'm wondering, though, could you explain maybe your experience with playing in pain and how you try to relate that to managing your players' fitness, especially in these big games?
Well, I tell them there's a difference between being hurt and being injured. If you're injured, you are physically unable to perform. So I would say Flage and Morrow were hurt, meaning they could have played. But then you have to evaluate as a coach, can they injure themselves if they continue to play hurt and then we not have them for the most important part of our season? Is their impact going to win or lose? Are we going to change where we were in the conference? No. We were going to finish third whether we won or lost. I'd already added up all the games. And so I think it was a smart decision to do what we did with Flage. She probably didn't like it, but she didn't fight me on it. You can't go wrong when you err on the side of being conservative, and you have the ability to be conservative as a coach with injuries. So both of them have had some days to rehab and start feeling better. And they've been practicing, so it doesn't seem to be, limitations on how long they can play or anything like that. I haven't been told that.
I think last week you said that you liked that perspective from the middle of the bench. What did that give you, and what did you like about it?
Well, it made me feel like an assistant all over again. And, you don't have to sit in that hot seat when you're an assistant. And so I could just sit there and watch Bob and occasionally, whisper something to a coach to send down to Bob. But it also allowed me to be closer to my players during the heat of the game. You're sitting right there by them, and you can talk to them in a way where you're not up here coaching and directing and getting on referees. And so I'm really kind of focusing on them to ask them, what do you see right there? What did she just do wrong? What can you do better if that was the perspective I really enjoyed. And, I liked it.
Hey, Coach, Toy Brown from The Advocate. Earlier, your players mentioned Simone Augustus and how she's impacted the team and impacted individuals. I guess from your standpoint, how has she helped this team in this season?
Simone is a quiet leader. Simone is a legend in our state, in the game of women's basketball. This is her school. This is her community. And we're just so excited she's a part of our program. Finally, it took me 2 years to finally get her talked into coming. And I think her approach is she's going to do a lot of things one-on-one with the players. She doesn't project loud, but I can tell you she has been really, really loud in things that she has said to them, whether it's in a timeout or whether it is in the locker room or the film room. I have watched her say things, and I'm thinking, you needed to. That's good to see.
Jacques Doucet, WAP-TV in Baton Rouge. Coach, is it harder for freshmen these days to break in with the portal? And with that being said, how impressive is it that Jada has had the impact on your team that she has?
I guess it is kind of hard depending on the program. It may not be hard at some programs, but I would think at some of the elite levels, if you continue to recruit out of the portal, it is hard. Well, what's the difference? It's the experience at this level. But the great ones, the freshmen, a lot of them can still go and do it. You've seen that. Jada she's gotten lots of minutes in this program as a freshman. And while she would tell you, no, I'm as frustrated as can be, I want to be out there more, that's what you hope she says. But she has gotten a lot of valuable minutes. And I'm high on Jada. I really am. She can shoot the basketball. Sometimes I think I need to move her to the off guard in games because if you just throw it to her, she can score the ball from the perimeter.
LSU Gymnastics has this saying that our normal is enough, meaning that the preparation and the workouts that they've done have prepared them for the moment. Do you subscribe to that, or do you feel like at this point in the season there's a reserve that you have to go to?
Well, it depends on your normal. Your normal may not be good enough if the other team's more talented. You got to play above your normal. What happens this time of year? You got to have 2, 3, 4 things happen. You got to all be on the same page, offensively and defensively. Everybody just flows smoothly. You have to make sure that you stay away from injuries. Injuries can just derail everything you've worked for. That's out of your control somewhat. And then lastly, during the course of a game, at any level that you progress, there may be 1 or 2 lucky plays. Somebody missed a free throw. Somebody shot an air ball. Somebody turned it over. You know, it's that one lucky break that you might get that gets you over the hump. And if those things happen, who knows how far you can go.
We have time for one more question. Scott?
Scott Rabelais with The Advocate. Sorry if you've been asked a question like this before. I was in the locker room. But we're all focused on your big 3 players. But you maybe don't get to the national championship game 2 years ago if LaDasia Williams doesn't play like she did against Utah. And maybe, it's harder to win the national championship game if Jasmine Carson doesn't do what you do. To make the run to win a national championship, how much do you need a role player to have a great game or several? And is there anything you can do to try to make that happen?
You have to have them all do what they do best. You don't have to go get a role player and say, you need to score this many points for us to win. You have to play your role. And we did kind of mention that we win the national championship because of 3 bench players, Poa, Samaya, and Carson. We had an elite point guard in Morris. You had Reese, elite post player. You had LaDasia, an older player, against Utah. She just goes off when Angel's in and out of the lineup. Play your role and do what you do best. And it's just a fun time of the year because there's so much more parity now in women's basketball. And it's fun to see see these close games, and it's fun to see teams that are just better now, programs that are better, and got to play good. Everybody's got to play good. They don't have to play above what they are capable of doing. Just play good and be solid.
Coach, thanks for your time as always. Wish you the best of luck. LSU hits the practice floor here in a couple minutes, and we will be back at 2:05 with George Mason players. Until then, have a good afternoon from Baton Rouge.